ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 16 verse 8. Asatyam apratishtham te jagat ahu anishwaram aparaspar sambhutam kim anyat kam hetukam. The demons describe the world as unreal, without basis and godless. They say it is the product of sexual union or that it is self-generated. Not only this, they even say that it is the result of lust. Now in this verse, Shri Krishna is describing the fundamental nature of those who are demoniac. Their opposition to the Supreme Lord. Their contention that there is no creator and that everything has come into existence by accident or simply because of the union between man and a woman. That there is no ultimate creator. That there is no intelligent design behind creation. That there is no purpose to creation except for us to enjoy the material nature. This aversion of the demoniac takes different forms. Some of these are in form of very sophisticated philosophies that are prevalent throughout the world. And it also takes a form of scientific arguments. The main theme in all of them is that they do not want to accept that there is a supreme authority. And by not accepting a supreme authority, they believe that they are masters of their own destiny. That they don't have to surrender to anyone. That they can do whatever they want. That they can exploit the material nature to fulfill their own desires. So in this present verse, the Lord is explaining the philosophy of those who possess a demoniac nature. See, we discussed before also that the main distinction between those who have a demoniac nature and those who have a godly nature is their acceptance of Vedic injunctions or denial of Vedic injunctions. And the basis of Vedic injunctions is that there is a supreme power, that we are all his part and parcel, that there is a purpose behind creation, and that the human life is meant for self-realization. Denial of all of this is not believing in the scriptures, and thus they are of demoniac nature. Shri Gurudev very beautifully summarizes this in the commentary, where he states that the essence of the commentary written by Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan, who was a great Vaishnav Acharya and wrote a beautiful, a very extensive commentary on Bhagavad Gita. The essence of his commentary is that such people of demonic nature can be divided into four main categories. So according to the opinion of Mayavadi, so this is the first category, those who do not accept the form of the Lord. They say that the absolute truth is all pervading, formless, without any qualities. So according to them, this material world is asatya. Asatya means it is unreal. Then they say that it is apratishthita. That means it has no basis. And then they say it is anishwar, meaning there is no God behind the creation of this world. So, explaining this further, he states that they say it is asatya or unreal because it is an illusion. And the example they give is that just as a rope can be taken for a snake. So in the dark, if you are walking on the road and if you see a rope, then you may mistake it to be a snake. So they say similarly, this world is just an illusion. Just like the snake is not there, it is only the rope. But see again, there is a misconception here. Unless that physical object called the rope was not lying on the road, you would not think it is a snake. If there was no rope, you will not take it to be a snake. So that physical object is there. But because of ignorance, because of darkness, you have mistaken it to be a snake. Similarly, the world does exist. It is not asatya, it is real. But it is temporary. We are taking this world to be permanent and thinking that we will live in this forever. This is the ignorance. The world is not unreal, but our understanding of it, that it is permanent in the sense that we will live in this permanently and enjoy forever, that is unreal. And just like taking the rope to be a snake is because of ignorance due to darkness, similarly, this misconception about the material world is also born of our ignorance. But those who are Mayavadis, they say the world is unreal. Then they say that it is apratishta because it has no basis, like a flower in the sky. So this is a poetic metaphor of a flower blooming in the sky. So they say the world has no basis, just like the flower cannot grow in the sky. But this is also unreal. This is also mistaken. The creation has a basis. It is created from material elements that are real, but temporary and subject to destruction. Then they say that the world is anishwar because Ishwar is not the cause of creation. So they clearly deny the existence of a supreme person. They say it is all-pervading oneness, the Brahman, which when covered by illusion becomes the living entities, but in fact this world is unreal. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that Anishwaram means that since the world is unreal, it has not been created by the Supreme Lord. Rather, it has come about accidentally without any mutual union. So, see, this is again also the philosophy of many modern day scientists, where they argue that the world has come into existence from a big bang. There was a big explosion. Explosion of what? One infinitesimally small particle. Right? From that little thing, which is almost like a mathematical singularity, a zero, that exploded. That is why it is called the Big Bang, and then rapidly expanded, and the entire universe came into existence. Now just think about it objectively. Will any intelligent person agree that this immense mass that we see in the universe, how many millions and billions of stars and planets are there, the immense amount of energy that exists throughout the huge universe, was that all concentrated in just a single particle and such a small thing which exploded? Now, if it exploded, what was there before that, and what caused that explosion, and why did it explode only about, let's say, 10 billion years or ago, which they calculate as the life of the universe? So these are all very baseless philosophies, baseless arguments, but they dress it up very nicely and present it very professionally and try to delude the common people and sway them from the Vedic understanding that there is a supreme creator. Shri Krishna himself states in Bhagavad Gita in the 10th chapter verse 8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. I am the source of both mundane and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. We have discussed this many times previously as well, that in our own experience, that nothing gets created accidentally, right? Have you ever seen throughout your life anything, what to talk of this gigantic universe, a simple thing like a table or a chair, does it get created on its own? Can you put a few pieces of wood, nails together, and then will they come together on their own and create a table? No. Or if you just explode them, will a table get created, or will everything get burned to ashes? Everything will get burned to ashes. So these kind of ideas, even though proposed by scientists, are in fact completely unscientific. And the great scientists like Einstein or Newton never subscribed to these ideas. Newton, as I have shared this example before also, he made a model of the solar system. It was on his lab table, and when some of his friends visited, they inquired, wow, what a wonderful model, because there was a sun in the center and planets all around, and by rotating a wheel you could make these planets rotate around the sun. So they asked, oh, who made this model? And Newton said, well, these balls and sticks and this wheel and all of these things were just lying around, and it all came together, accidentally got built. They started smiling and they said, no, we mean, who built this model? He said, yeah, it just got created on its own. So after inquiring and asking him multiple times, when he kept saying this all happened on its own, then they got agitated and they said, well, we thought that you were a leading scientist. How can you say that this model just got created on its own? Someone must have created it. And then Newton said, well, my dear friends, you're not ready to admit that this model got created on its own, but then you keep arguing and proposing that this immense universe, this such a complex, gigantic universe, came into existence on its own without a supreme intelligent being who must have created it. So see, that is a very simple thing to understand. But unfortunately, because of our immense aversion to the Supreme Lord, we do not admit it. So this is the group of Mayavadis who say that, and then those who are scientists. Then further, Shri Gurudev explains that there is also a particular sect of Buddhists who are called the Swabhavvadis. So this particular sect, they say that the material world is a paraspar sambhutam, which means it is not born of mutual union between male and female, but comes from nature. So again, they propound this concept of the living entities coming into existence on their own. They say that the natural and necessary action of substances, according to their inherent properties, produce and sustain the universe. That there is no union between a male and female that gives birth to a child, but it is because these substances, this is their inherent properties, and they on their own produce and sustain the universe. They actually claim that the birth of a child from parents is also an illusion. They say that when a potter makes a pot from mud, he knows what he is doing. But when parents procreate a child, they do not know how it happens. Therefore, the process of begetting a child is also illusion. So, well, you may not have heard of all of these ideas, so which is very good, but unfortunately these do exist. And there's so many different groups and philosophies floating around. Therefore, it is very important to understand Bhagavad Gita and the true meaning of what Krishna is explaining, so that we have the knowledge to refute such misguided ideas when someone tries to present them to us or tries to convince us. Next, Shri Gurudev explains that also according to the philosopher Charvak, the material world is kama hetukam, born from the flow of lust between male and female. Now, of course, the union of male and female produces a child, but here again the important point to understand is that ultimately the life is not because of this union, but because of the Supreme Lord, because the soul is part and parcel of the Supreme. If the union was always going to give birth to a child, then why is it that many times the child is still born, right? So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Bij Pradah Pita, that he is the ultimate father. So while the union does, that act of union produces the child, but at the same time, without the Supreme Lord providing that energy, that union will also not lead to a child's birth. Then according to another group of people, selfish desire is the cause of this world. Now, they also have a very speculative logic, and according to that, they disregard the authoritative Vedic literatures and uselessly endeavor to ascertain the cause of this material world. So there are many who do not believe that there is a supreme controller. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur states that their philosophy is that there is no purpose in accepting the existence of a supreme controller, since the relationship of cause and effect is not the basis of the creation of the universe. Some say that Ishwar or the Supreme Lord does exist, but when he created the world, he was influenced by his selfish desires, and therefore he is not qualified to be the object of our worship. So one way or the other, they do not want to surrender to the Supreme, either by denying his existence or by saying, well, he does exist, but we do not need to surrender to him because he created this world just to satisfy his own desires. So see, all of these very speculative philosophies exist. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada states that the demoniac conclude that the world is a phantasmagoria. There is no cause and effect, no controller, no purpose, everything is unreal. They say that this cosmic manifestation arises due to chance material actions and reactions. So as we were just discussing, that it is just by chance that we got created. Now again, think scientifically, what is the probability that from this explosion, so-called explosion called the Big Bang, that such a complex being like the humans came into existence? It is almost impossible, because when these combinations take place, the probability of something evolving into a complex thing like a human being is absolutely negligible. And it was all matter, right? How come consciousness got created from matter? Consciousness is not a product of matter, it is again something so simple to understand and experience. If it was the result of material elements, then when a person is on the deathbed, then why can't we just inject some chemicals and make him live forever or bring him back to life? We can't, because life does not come from matter. It is not a combination of certain chemical reactions. So there is matter and then there is spirit. But those who deny the existence of God, they do not believe them. Srila Prabhupada states, for them there is no difference between spirit and matter, and they do not accept the Supreme Spirit. Everything is matter only, and the whole cosmos is supposed to be a mass of ignorance. According to them, everything is void, and whatever manifestation exists is due to our ignorance and perception. They take it for granted that all manifestation of diversity is a display of ignorance. Just as in a dream, we may create so many things which actually have no existence, then when we are awake, we shall see that everything is simply a dream. But factually, although the demons say that life is a dream, they're very expert in enjoying this dream, right? So if this is a dream, and if it is all illusion, then why are we making so much effort to make our lives very, very comfortable, luxurious? Why there is so much effort for technological advancement if it is all a dream or an illusion, right? So it is not an illusion. Their thinking like this is an illusion. So instead of acquiring knowledge, they become more and more implicated in their dreamland. So while those who are of demoniac nature, they argue that the world has come into existence on its own without any intelligent creator or design behind it. But the devotees know that it is the Supreme Lord who is the creator. Shri Krishna states himself in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 9 verse 10, and Shri Gurudev quotes this, Maya adhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetuna anena kantya jagat viparivartate. O son of Kunti, under my direction, my external potency gives birth to the cosmic manifestation with its moving and non-moving living beings. For this reason, the material world is created again and again. So this material world has been created by the material nature, which is the external energy of the Supreme Lord. And because it's His energy, it has created this universe under His supervision and as per His direction. So since this world has been created by the will of the Lord, who is Satya Sankalp. Satya Sankalp means, Shri Gurudev explains, that he who desires must come to pass. So whatever the Lord desires must happen. So therefore, because it is creation of His energy, so He is real, His energies are real, and this world which is created from those energies is also real. But the point to understand is that it is changeable and perishable, right? So we do not say that the world is an illusion. The world is existing. Everything that we see around does exist because it is manifested from the real external energy of the Lord. But it is temporary. And us thinking that things that we have are permanent, that is illusion. That is ignorance. So Srila Gurudev concludes that the demons concoct various types of temporary atheistic philosophies because they are bereft of pure and perfect wisdom. So we should be careful of such misguided philosophies because they only lead to further entanglement in the material consciousness and continuation of this miserable cycle of birth and death. We should take to the instructions of the Lord and accept Him as a supreme creator, as a supreme father, as a supreme well-wisher, and our life will be successful. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, have a very blessed day.